Welcome to Business Inspired GY, and we are still on Women's History Month. Today we will be speaking with Keiva Reyes on how Caribbean professional women can avoid burnout. Burnout is no longer an issue that can be glanced over or identified as a catchphrase. According to the World Health Organization, burnout was recognized as a problem for working mothers even before the COVID-19 pandemic. Further, it is said that 28% of working mothers are more likely to experience burnout than fathers. Hence our focus today. Keiva Reyes is an email marketing specialist and founder of Mompreneurs and Me. She has a desire to help Caribbean professional women succeed. Keiva has a unique understanding of how difficult it can be to juggle a daily to-do list, so her goal is to make life easy by taking away some of the stresses that running a business can bring. So we are going to start with you, telling us a little about yourself and explaining to us what really is email marketing.
Okay, great. First, let me start with saying thank you so much for having me here. It's a pleasure to be here. So my name is Keiva Reyes. I am from Trinidad and Tobago. I am a mom, so a mom business owner, and I work full-time in my business. Email marketing is simply a way that we use to communicate with our audience via emails. So instead of using social media and other aspects, we use emails through a platform. Well, my platform of choice is MailerLite, as I am a MailerLite specialist. So we use this platform to communicate with your audience, which is the audience you built for yourself. So you can say your own audience, because these people actually subscribed to be a part of your community. So I help my clients again to actually build their community, to communicate, to craft their messaging, and to show up via email marketing.
How effective would you say this have been? And I'm asking this in light of, many persons moving in the direction of Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter and the like.
Okay, well, yes, social media is great, but there's often a question of what happens when social media goes down. You don't own your list on social media. It's not a foolproof method of communicating with your audience. And then, you have to compete with the algorithm. So many people still don't see your messaging. So compared to that, email marketing is very, very, versatile, because as I said, you own your audience. It's your platform. Well, you use the platform. So you can, in a way, you can say you own the platform. And, everything there is at your availability. You can send out emails at any time, and it's just, to me, it's more effective than social media. But when paired with social media, of course, you'll get an even better response.
Now, I know that at least I can probably speak for Guyana. I can't speak for the rest of the Caribbean. We have an issue where we send email and we have to follow up, with a phone call, because, persons aren't checking their emails and stuff like that. Has that been a challenge in your business?
Yes, it definitely is a challenge, but there are ways that we try to minimize that challenge. So the first thing is you want to start with a lead magnet that is targeted towards your audience. So a lot of people just put out a lead magnet because they want to attract subscribers, and that's not the best way to start. You want people that, really want to hear from you, who are interested in what you have to offer. And if they themselves may not buy from you, they will refer you to others. So that's one way we try to curb the problem of people not opening emails. And secondly, if there is a problem, there are still ways around it. So you try to retarget them to see if they will open. You give it some time. And if they still don't, then you unsubscribe. I know many people have challenges with unsubscribing, and they feel, oh my, someone unsubscribed, or, I have to delete these people. But there's nothing wrong. You have to think of it from a normal angle in everyday business. Not everyone will want what you have to offer. So it's okay. If they don't need it, it's okay.
Now that is a question I was going to ask you, because many persons they get emails coming to their they get mails coming to their inbox, and sometimes they figure it's spam, or I'm not interested in this. How business owners have been dealing with that. But the other question I want to ask you is about more women in the region getting into business. And, there seems to be some amount of difficulty building or running their businesses. What are your thoughts in that regard?
Well, definitely is. And then when you pair it with being a mom, or you may not be a mom yourself, but you're taking care of family members, or you're a wife, it's a lot. It's a lot for women in business to balance. So over the time, we have developed ways to cope with that. So I know one way of coping, helping yourself to build business, looking for the support you need, and things like that, is to actually network a lot, to build your support system for people who will help you grow in business, people who will nurture, and sometimes just there to have a listening ear. So it's very important for Caribbean women on the whole to adopt these methods to help themselves grow in business and cope with our everyday struggles.
What would you say is the main issue women in the region have been struggling with professionally?
I would say, from what I've seen, a lot of women struggle with confidence. That's one thing. They know they have something good to offer, but they feel that people don't want to hear from them, or they don't know how to bring across their message. They feel that because we have so many people that we look up to, you have to be like them and emulate them. So that is a struggle I often meet with my clients. And it takes a little time for them to get into their own voice and be themselves. But after a while, you get completely comfortable. So yes, it is a struggle. It's a consistent struggle, but you have to continue to work on it. And part of it has to do with the mindset. So even for me, mindset was a big challenge for me. And I met a coach who actually helped me with that. I started doing positive affirmations, listening to things that are motivating and things of this sort. So I think that is the number one struggle for Caribbean women.
And, I'm glad that you mentioned getting a coach, listening to motivations and so on. But, in the region, we have this thing that we don't like to talk about our issues, having to talk to somebody. And it is something that, particularly we figure that, it is men who don't like to share, but then we're seeing it more and more in women. What would your advice be, to them?
I think, honestly, it's something that takes time. You don't readily meet someone and just open up. So I think it's in building relationships. Now, it's quite okay to get help. If you think that, you need someone to talk to and you want to go on a more professional level, there is nothing wrong with going to a coach, a mentor, or even if you need a therapist. I absolutely endorse this, especially as women. When we're dealing with so much, I know it's a lot to be a mom, it's a lot to be a wife. Then you have to work, you have to deal with clients. Your clients may have issues and they're bringing it to you now. So there is absolutely nothing wrong in asking for help. And if you don't want to go to that extent, that is where your support system comes in. I always encourage women in business to build a network. You may have a friend who is in business, you could talk to them, or you may just have a good friend, you could talk to them as well. But it is absolutely nothing to be ashamed of. We all need help at some point in our lives.
Now, my next question, and this is really linked to what you would have just said. I know that women are dealing with a lot. They've always been dealing with a lot, and then we've had the pandemic. Some of them had businesses that, did not survive the pandemic. And then they're now in the process of trying to rebuild those businesses. But in doing that, they sometimes feel, overwhelmed. What would your advice be in terms of the things that they should do, to avoid feeling overwhelmed?
Yes, I know for me, that was a lot. Sometimes I still struggle with overwhelming feelings, but I adopt a few things. So I'm a person who's spiritual. I dive into my scriptures, my Bible. I spend that time with God. That's number one for me. Another thing I do is try to find balance by doing something that I love. Even if it's going to a movie, I love to sing. So probably turn on YouTube and I sing loudly. That is so stress relieving. And there are other simple things. Sometimes I call up a friend, we go to have probably dinner, but I know not everyone will have those opportunities. So you really look for the things that you enjoy and find balance in doing that. Even if it's sitting at home with some quiet time, reading a book, watching TV, something of the sort, just to find that little time for you, it helps a lot to deal with the overwhelm. As well as scheduling your time as much as possible. To be totally honest, I get anxious when I have too much work on my plate. So what I have started doing is scheduling. what's most important, and you prioritize. You put your number one and you put your number two. Can I work on this one for 1 hour today and something else for another hour? You try to schedule it that way. That as well helps with the overwhelm. I'm really glad you asked those questions.
This is a follow-up to this question, and it is based on, some of the things that you've said. We have women who sometimes, might feel that, especially those who have children, me time and, trying to carve out me time, but, how do they not feel guilty at the same time?
Yes, I know that one all too well. It takes time again, but you have to understand that you can't pour from an empty cup. As a mom, because I'm a mom of 3, and my kids are a little older now, but I still have a teenager, just a teenager, who's very demanding. And sometimes she makes me feel guilty for wanting me time. She'll be like, Mom, you don't love me, you don't want to spend time with me. And I have to make her understand, if mommy doesn't do something for herself, then mommy won't be able to give you the time you need, because mommy might end up, having to go to a facility for care, because stress will build up and then I can't deal with it and I have to look for an outlet. So you have to come to a place in your life where you understand that it is mandatory. I have to put myself first at times so that I can deal with everything else in my life, give my children priority, give my work priority, and there's nothing wrong. So we need to find ways to overcome that guilty feeling and just accept that there is absolutely nothing wrong with having time for ourselves. It's part of self-care, actually.
It's so true. Now, in terms of improving businesses, what are some of the things, as one professional to another professional, what are some of the things that you think that women should do in terms of if they want to see positive changes in their business and also that will, impact their bottom line positively?
Definitely increase your visibility. Social media, if you can go into email marketing, if you know someone who has a podcast that you can appear on, different ways, increase your visibility. Let people know who you are. I mean, there is a coach I follow who always says people can't buy from you if they don't know who you are. So that is number one. If you want to make positive impacts on your business as well, I always advise to invest in yourself and your business as much as possible. So that's where coaching came in for me. I know for everyone, your business may not be at that stage, but there are other avenues. So you can go to YouTube and find videos that will help motivate you, that will teach you something, things like that. Investing in your business, learning something new. Technology is always changing, we're always upgrading, and we have to keep up with these things for our business to stay viable. So continue to invest in your business. And one thing for business growth, although we talk about it, self-care is a must. Your business revolves around you. So make sure you take care of yourself first so you can continue to take care of others and build your business.
Now, you have gained international recognition. And from that perspective, what would your advice be for women who are, looking to build their brands?
Building your brand internationally, again, comes with your visibility. So where I started was doing a lot of networking in Facebook groups, actually. And I got advice, I gave advice, I showed up, so people started recognizing me, asking, what do you do? They started DMing, taking the conversations there, then to Zoom. So this is one way for sure. You have to network, increase your visibility and network. And those are the foundations to take you international.
Now, my last question. For persons who viewing the program, listening to it, if they want to contact you, how can they do that?
I am on Facebook and Instagram as @MailerLightExpert. I'm on LinkedIn as my name, Keiva Reyes, and my website is keivareyes.com. So any one of those ways, you're free to contact me.
Keiva, thank you very much for speaking with me. And I know that, the information you would have shared today would be very beneficial to my audience. And again, thank you.
I appreciate it. And I do hope it was beneficial. And like I said, please feel free to contact me. It does not have to be about email marketing. It could be about other aspects of business. I'm very open to helping us women develop.
All right, thanks again.
Thank you.